fix life looks brilliant, give me more of this. I'm out of control, about to blow, and I've been caught in the undertow. So toxic, but I can't get enough. You bury me, bury me. Yeah, you bury me, bury me. You've got me hypnotized, push me out of myself. You've got me hypnotized. I can see, I can hear, going crazy by the light. It's got me hypnotized. You've got me hypnotized. And let you out of my hand again. Is it wrong? Is it right? It's like I've won my final war without a fight. I'm out of control, about to blow, and I've been caught in the undertow. So toxic, but I can't get enough. You bury me, bury me. I know you bury me, bury me. You've got me hypnotized, push me out of myself. You've got me hypnotized. I can see, I can hear, going crazy by the light. It's got me hypnotized. You've got me hypnotized. Get you out of my head, get you out of my head.
Please note.
Never gonna stop, never gonna change, never gonna do the things you say. I run my own way to get there. Fools are calling that I don't seem to care. In the air, no more crowd, just the opposite kind of few clouds. So tell me this time is coming, I'm sick of all your lies. Why don't you try to be wise? Know that I need you anyway.
Wanted to be alive, just to feel like I'm fading. And though my habits are beaten down, I've crossed the line just to tell you. Don't lead the way, don't even say that I try with a child's play in the rain. I feel like I'm fading.
I teach you what I know. What comes up must come down. Gravity keeps on pulling us down. The moment is now. Sunrise again. Showtime probably. The antidote is what you make it. Your ignorance don't need to fake it. Defy gravity. Defy gravity. I'm not one for dead. I shall take away that the right like this. Won't repeat the words twice. My time is surprising, no dice. But still my rights.
Hello, hello, and welcome to Women's Classic Wrestling. I'm your host, Auntie Collins. Here with me tonight is Miss Astrid Pizarro. Hey, hey.
Anew, how you doing?
I'm all right. It's been a rough 72 hours for me, medically wise. How are you?
Doing okay, but glad to be here with you. We have to excuse Mel that she's not feeling well today. She doesn't have a voice to join us. But we're here though. We're gonna continue on and talk about the Mae Young Classic.
I'm stoked. There isn't anyone that I would sacrifice a sleepover. So for those wondering, yes, I took my migraine medicine about 2 hours ago. I seem to be doing okay, but if I have to leave in the middle of the stream, just know that's what's going on. But for the meantime, we'll see how long this this. I'm seeing if I could change it from the actual brightness. Okay, that might be better. But Oh man, what a wild week. Did you catch any of the GCW shows? I know that you were watching TNA. You guys did such a great job. I was in the lurky lurks. Hello, Millie. All the love to you. Did you catch any of GCW?
No, I was watching. Even though I couldn't do the post show because it ended by the time I have to go to bed. But I was watching Genesis, which was overall pretty good pay per view, to be honest.
Mhm.
The GCW one, I just watched the clips I saw on Twitter when I had a break from the TNA one. Aside from that, well wishes to Ali Catch because of the injury that she had, because that was
Mhm.
horrific to watch, to be honest.
It was one of those things so I fell asleep in between the Effie and Allie ending because they took so long to get a second ambulance after all of that, and I just fell asleep. It's fine. I wasn't feeling well anyways, but yeah, that was so gnarly, and seeing that, and I know that that's not how they wanted to finish telling their story. Um, but all the well wishes to Alley Catch. If you would like to donate to their GoFundMe, I've posted on my social medias. You can always go over to Steph DeLander's social media, and it is in there. There are some pretty large donations from people who love them, love what they're doing. So, but if you can't donate monetarily, please share. But, yeah, I had seen some of the clips from TNA. Love seeing Joe Hendry finally getting that title. He's sitting in great company of people who have gotten the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. But that match was really good, and I would like to go back and watch it because he won clean in the middle of the ring, which was so beautiful. My thoughts on Jordan Grace we all know that she's going to WWE. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
But it's kind of one of those things that I wish that she had been in the Mae Young Classic.
Oh, she would have been a good one to watch.
She would have, I mean, even at the time when I don't think that she was as muscle mommy at the time, but that's just one of those things of, okay, she's doing it. She's doing the thing. But I put her in a tournament so that she could beat everyone.
I love that idea.
I love it.
Please.
Yeah. And I see Ed in the chat. Hey, even though I almost blocked you on Saturday. But we are talking about the Mae Young Classic episode 7. This is our quarterfinals. We have Abbey Laith versus Mercedes Martinez. We have Shayna Baszler versus Candice LeRae. We have Toni Storm versus Piper Niven. And in our main event, we have Kairi Sane versus Dakota Kai. I can't help you have poor taste. Oh my gosh, Ed. It's definitely you have the poor taste because all of my taste is elite.
There you go.
But are you ready to jump in?
I'm ready.
All right. Our first match is Abbey Laith versus Mercedes Martinez. Why don't you jump into it?
This one was one of those that I enjoyed it, and I feel like it was a good opener. I did like having the highlight that Mercedes got in this match. I feel like she did so great in this one. And I will keep it the way it was too. It wasn't one of those matches that I will give longer time or anything like that. I feel like they were both able to show off a little bit of themselves. And I'm glad that Mercedes won in the end because I feel like I would have gone definitely with her. She has the most experience out of the two, and I feel like she definitely could carry on to the next person versus I feel like Abbey, I don't want to say she would be lacking, but it definitely would have been the same if Abbey had won it. But I feel like, yeah, Mercedes definitely like the standout for me in this match.
Yeah. So we kind of knew that Abbey Laith, right? The matches that she had leading up to this, the first one being that huge upset with Jazzy, and then the match with Rachel Evers that was a little bit up and down, a little bit wishy-washy, but she has come into this being the underdog. While Mercedes Martinez has had kind of a higher level, so to speak, like higher level opponents, with that first one being Xylee, and then going on to face Princess Suhei, which to me, those matches were a little bit more impactful because Mercedes Martinez is the veteran having to change up her style in order to fit these different wrestlers. Xylee being a very brand new green wrestler, but very vicious. And then Princess Suhei, who also had that veteran status, but it just a different style of wrestling. So we have Abbey Laith, your underdog. You have Mercedes Martinez, the killer, so to speak, with how hard hitting that she has been. She continued to play the aggressor in this match. So if you would love seeing Mercedes Martinez play an aggressive wrestler, this match is definitely for you. Definitely chops were in this, which I felt like she was going to cave in Abbey Laith's chest at one point just because of how many chops that were being done. I do want to note that Mercedes Martinez, being the veteran that she is, remembered that, in one of my matches, my shoulder got hurt by Princess Suhei. So she kind of kept that going into the storyline, which I thought was chef's kiss. But I don't want to count out Abbey Laith, even though, we've kind of see her come up with these, scrappy wins. Abbey Laith did do a counter, which went into that alligator clutch, and then into a German suplex, which you all know how I love a German suplex. But that only got 2, which I think just pissed off Mercedes Martinez because she's like, I'm not going to let some scrappy do looking fairy girl beat me. And Mercedes Martinez finished her in 8 minutes and 58 seconds with a Fisherman's Buster, which I think, if she's emphasizing that shoulder injury, is pretty gnarly, so to speak. But Martinez played aggressive the whole time, but it's clearly opening her for a possible loss in the next round. But we'll see what happens. But I don't know. You want a hard-hitting match, I present to you any match that Mercedes Martinez is in.
And my one complaint from this isn't even from the match, is from commentary. Because
Yeah.
we have mentioned commentary, how we don't like it, and no, it is what it is. But this line, I hate it when they bring it up in wrestling so much. And it's like, the same ballet kind of line that JR mentioned. The way I think it's because of the way Abbey is dressed. But I hate that line because they make it seem like ballet is something easy and you could just get into, and it's like, here, you're a ballet dancer. No, it's not that simple. Like, I've done contemporary dancing before, and it's similar-ish to ballet. And it does take some discipline, and it takes a lot of practicing. And I went to a lot of dance camps and stuff like that for, to improve myself as a dancer. So to see it's like, the same ballet, I was like, just because it's wrestling is more physical doesn't mean that ballet is simple either. So it's like, I hate when they do lines like that. And it's like, and not only that, but I feel like I think about it this way. To me, ballet is something that is more than anything dominated by women. So it feels like downgrading something that women do at the same time.
Yeah.
I hate it from every angle I think about it. I totally hate it. I don't like that line whatsoever.
Yeah. It's got the scrappiest chops. Mercedes Martinez, Allison Kay, Mako, and Emi Sakura. Oh my gosh, Emi Sakura this weekend going ham. I loved it. Oh no.
Dang.
But yeah, I've been actually listening. I've been watching the Mae Young Classic on what is it, 2 times speed or 1.5, because It truly drowns out the
Mhm.
sound of commentary.
Mhm.
And not because I
Yeah.
want to watch the wrestling faster. It's just I don't want to listen to JR at all. It does get me through the episodes, and if I do need to go back, that's what I'll do. But
Mhm.
he's just so bad. It's so
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah. I
Oh,
hate
that's
that
my
line with a passion.
co-host.
I was
There's
waiting
my
for you to realize.
co-host. Hey, if
Aw.
y'all want to watch the RuPaul's Drag Race post show on Saturdays, Jose and I have a little podcast called The Mother Tucking post show. And it's on Saturdays if you want to watch it. If you don't watch RuPaul's Drag Race, that's fine. We just sit and gab and throw shade, and I love it. So come check it out. It's on Saturdays. I bet you're not doing anything because you probably don't do anything because you're kind of a weirdo, and we love you. So
The Overlord's here.
the Overlord. Oh no, but
Yeah.
oh well, we did jump right into. It kind of felt very like, okay, that was 8 minutes and 58 seconds. Yes. But here's the thing. It's not a wrestling show, but somehow we talk about wrestling or
Mhm.
wrestling related adjacent
Yeah.
items. So
There you go. Look, Millie Sane and Nina Samuels, who's a wrestler, for those that don't know, is a former pro dancer who knows ballet. And it's because of her that everybody started hating that saying. Yeah, I really didn't like it before because it makes it seem like ballet is something you can just hear. You can just start dancing like nothing. And it's not like that. You definitely needs a lot of practice and a lot of discipline to be able to do the stuff you do. And then not only that, but like I said, downgrades what women do because something that is dominated by women. So I totally hate when people say it's like it's as easy as ballet or you- no, don't say that, please.
season 4 wrestling match. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. True story. I I did ballet when I was young, and I broke my nose while doing ballet
Yeah, not easy.
because I was trying to do the little pointed toes, when I was 6. We were trying to be on the balls of our feet, and I was like,
Mhm.
I'm gonna do the pointed toes because the girls in
Mm.
2 grades up, and then I just and then fell, smacked on my
Oh
nose, broke my
no.
nose.
And even everything, even breaking your shoes already,
Yeah.
like your slippers, is already like a lot of hard work, and it's not easy. And it sounds like easy to put a shoe on, but it's definitely not. So
Mm-hmm.
I definitely hate that line. And he says, "This ain't ballet." Like I hate that line. Where like on, I'm like wrestling is easier than ballet, and I totally hate that. So
And it just also reminds me that Ref Aubrey, used to do ballet around here, be in the Pacific Northwest ballet scene. And one of the things that she has mentioned is, sure, ballet is, part of your blood at the time, but wrestling makes ballet look like a cakewalk. Like
Mhm.
the amount of precision and everything that goes into it is like, it's so buttoned up. It's why it's so elite. It's why it is pretty separate from a lot of things. It is the way that it is. So, well, things that aren't polished to perfection. Shayna Baszler versus Candice LeRae. Uh, this match was interesting. I don't know if interesting is the word I want to say. Because I watched this with Melball while we were watching things together,
Mhm.
and we were talking about it. And this match was so sloppy, but for all the great reasons.
Mhm. Mhm.
Oh my gosh. This match was sloppy for all the right reasons in wrestling, where it is scrappy with gusto, right? You have Candice LeRae, who is Mighty Mouse in a wrestler, and you have Shayna Baszler in an MMA killer. And they're both willing to do anything to get where they are. Candice LeRae beat Renee Michelle, which was kind of an easier first opponent, and then survived the suplex master of Nicole Savoy, while Shayna Baszler had probably one of the hardest opponents first with Zeta, and then had one of the best matches of this entire tournament versus Mae Young, which I would consider like a 4-star, 5-star match with them. This match was kind of similar in the same degree of Candice LeRae is pretty veteran at this time, trying to really put on a show, put on a wrestling classic. Johnny Gargano is in the crowd watching all of this, and also the MMA horsewomen are in the match. The thing that pissed me off about it, first, Candice puts out her hand and Shayna doesn't shake. That's when you knew that this match was going to be dirty. You know how I love the code of honor? That code of honor, I love it. And it was not adhered to this match. Candice putting her body out on the line with suicide dives into DDTs. The crowd is chanting, Candice wrestling, Candice wrestling. And there was a point in the match where Candice was just hitting things and responding, and she opened herself up the same way that Mia did. And she got trapped into that curfew to clutch in the same way of going up on the top rope to do a high spot. And she went right into that Venus flytrap of the curfew to clutch. And she beat her in 3 minutes and 11 seconds.
No freaking way. I didn't realize it was that fast.
That was my biggest criticism of this match, is that we put so much into this, because there was that huge post-match segment where, you know, Johnny Gargano had to come back because Shayna would not finally release the hold, and everyone's booing, and we had to have this post-match angle. Okay. Which I'm pretty sure Shayna Baszler could beat the ever-living piss out of Johnny Gargano. But 3 minutes and 11 seconds? 3 minutes.
Wow.
And multiple websites said it was 3 minutes and 11 seconds.
You just shocked me with that, because I didn't realize it was that short.
It's crazy. It's crazy. What?
Especially going into like so far into it. Like,
I know.
I was gonna say I like what Jose is saying here. Something that we have mentioned before too. I miss that killer instinct with the PCS stuff going on. And that's why watching this match made me think about the fact that I missed that version of Shayna. Sorry. That not only did we, you know, that we got in NXT, that she would do stuff like that and get into the submissions like out of nowhere, the way she did with Mia and with Candice as well. In that moment of like those kind of matches that with her, if you think about it that way, they feel like they can end in an instant the way she is and the way she wrestles. And it just makes me miss that side of Shayna more than anything, because I keep thinking I like her and Candice here together, just because Candice knows how to make it look like, hey, I'm going really fast to try to avoid her, because if I get too close to her, I will give her the opportunity to like take me out. And then not only that, but showing the fact that she's, even though she's a veteran and she knows more than Shayna, but Shayna does take that moment, like whenever Candice makes a mistake, like she did on the top rope, and she just caught her in those, you know, that a moment that just came unexpectedly. But yeah, it just makes me miss like that kind of killer version of Shayna. I mean, I've seen her on Raw. I do like her personality and what she shows on social media, like on TikToks, for example. But I do miss that, you know, that kind of like killer, like champion, the way she was in NXT, and the way that you will see her, you'll be intimidated by her. But at the same time, you kind of don't feel the same right now because of what's going on behind the scenes and the storyline that she has, like tonight on Raw, for example. But yeah, I just miss the way that you're able, like, she comes out of nowhere when she wins her matches. And even Billy, Shayna, you're like my real life best friend. I rep to at hold, I'm not shaking your hand. I love seeing that though, because you can tell even the way they are here in this match, you can tell they know each other very well, so they know how to play off of each other as well. So even in the match, and Candice being the veteran that she is, they still have that chemistry that they know what to do with each other here. They know how to play with each other. And Jose here, I think that's why I always get happy when she does Bloodsport, because she's going in like a shoot fight. Yeah, exactly. She's not fighting for the sake of the match, like she's fighting for the sake of win, Sane being even better. Yeah, that's how I feel. Like I feel like I missed that kind of Shayna that we got before. I want to say, is it Starlina, if I'm saying that correctly? I've seen the fun of those trolling Shayna about TikTok, and her reactions make me laugh every single time. I do like that to see that from her, though. At the same time,
yeah,
I like seeing that on social media. But when you're on the show, I just miss that version of like
Mm-hmm.
You're like a killer if you think about it that way. And you're that those kind of people like unexpectedly just win a match the way you do. So, oh my god, I can't unsee that.
It's
I
like
can't.
my 12-year-old son just being like, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" And then I am not looking, and they're doing the TikTok dance.
Oh my god, I can't unsee that now, Millie.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Oh, jeez.
Mhm. Well, Shayna's going on to the next round, and we wouldn't know who her opponent is yet. So, but that's the thing that also kind of sucks is knowing in hindsight, like up to 2020, this was Shayna. She was, passing the women's championship between her and Kairi for so long, putting out banger matches, goes to the main roster, does the elimination chamber, does that entire thing where she gets through everyone, like,
Yeah.
knowing that Becky was fighting to drop the title to her at WrestleMania, and that was the 2020 version in front of nobody,
Yeah.
and she kept pushing for it, and like Becky also didn't know that she was pregnant when they had recorded those WrestleMania matches, knowing that like they built her up for her to lose at WrestleMania, just like Asuka. The dementia era, you know what I mean? Like, had he not been there, that Triple H would have had her win.
Oh, that's from Millie. I used to couldn't stand Shayna or Jasmine until BRE, which is the best roommates ever, started streaming together. Then I started loving them. Granted, it took a beat for Shayna to grow on me. I feel like I ended up liking them a lot too when I could see them streaming Among Us, just because I was one of those people like I would watch that to get distracted from the everyday life. So anybody that was streaming Among Us was the people that I used to watch to get distracted. But yeah, this match just makes me miss this version of Shayna. And like seeing tonight on Raw, like not even a few minutes ago, I could compare that in my mind to what we have here right now. And I'm like, this is not the woman that was just laying on the mat taking a pin a few minutes ago. It doesn't feel real. It feels weird to say because I feel like she started up well. I don't want to say strong, but at least well. And now it feels like almost like a downfall at this point because we haven't seen her like be the highlight of much in a while. The PCF is not there on a weekly basis, and they've been stuck doing the same thing for who knows how long. That's the only thing.
Yeah, if Shayna Baszler could just get back to that version of 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, I would dare them. I would dare Triple H to go back, do an elimination chamber where Shayna Baszler takes out all the opponents in the elimination chamber once again and get her lick back. Get that dominance back. Because when you look at Shayna Baszler, you don't see a mid-carder. There's no way. There's no way that you see a mid-carder when you see Shayna Baszler. She is an undeniable fierce killer that would make anyone piss their pants. So why are we treating her this way of getting pins like that? Come on.
Yeah.
Wake up. Wake up.
Pretty
Bring
much.
back the killer.
I can just imagine her with like people like right now, even the girls in NXT, like her and Zarya. I feel like that would be a killer match. Even her and Rhea or her and Jordan. Oof, like
she should be in that caliber of wrestlers.
Yeah.
Yep. So next week we will talk about the match of Mercedes Martinez versus Shayna Baszler because remember I told you that first match, if you want to see a hard hitter, you're going to see a hard hitter versus the MMA killer. There is no other match that I'm looking forward to than that match, other than the final.
Yep.
Because it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. Well, our little short match, we talked about that for like 20 minutes. And the match was only 3 minutes and some change. Oh, but we do go into Piper Niven versus Toni Storm. Piper Niven had beat Santana Garrett, easy opponent. Serena Deeb, remember that match? Kind of a harder opponent.
Mhm.
While Toni Storm had to take on an easier opponent of Aisha Raymond and the evergreen Lacey Evans. Tell me your feelings about this match.
So this was the part that I enjoyed the most, which is, it sounds very funny, like, for a lot of people, but I like when they start with, like, I don't know how to call it, but when they end up with the heads on the canvas, when they're reversed up and they shake hands, like that at first. I like how they make the crowd
Mhm.
pop, which is such a simple thing to begin in the match. I really love that, but I like the fact that Toni sees Piper, and she's in that mindset of she's a bigger opponent than I am, and she's taking her out, but also creating a distance between both of them, because she knows if they're too close to each other, she's going to be taken out if anything happens like that. And there was a part too that Piper goes to the top rope, and when Toni takes her down too, I was like, damn girl, the way she did that, it was just so impressive. And the leg drop at the end. But I again, like, I feel like this was such a fun match to watch. I also makes me realize how much I miss, and I wanted to see more from Piper by herself, because we do see her, like, being kind of like a bodyguard to Chelsea, and we see Chelsea or her running away, but we don't see them wrestling often. So I know we saw them on we saw her on SmackDown, so I was very happy to be able to see a glimpse of what I saw here, but on SmackDown there too. So it's not that far off. But again, I feel like they had fun with each other. They kind of knew how to play off of each other to make each other look very well in this match, and they did very well with it. And Toni ended up with a win, which is something that didn't surprise me either. I feel like her, with her name and the popularity that she has, I feel like that could be another reason why that happened.
Yeah. Yeah, talking about people with history. I was jazzed for this match. I think of the both these dynamic wrestlers, these are definitely names that were not as well known at the time, but up to this point, up to 2025, they've done pretty well for themselves. I do like that they were friendly from the start. We know that they have exchanged, wrestling in the past, wrestling in Shimmer. I don't know. They've wrestled each other in the past. Why was that so hard to say? Their test of strength was really great, because obviously Piper Niven is bigger and more, much unmovable force than Toni Storm.
Mhm.
But don't play Toni Storm because she's willing to take the fight there. But that hip attack, it's like it does nothing to Piper. Come on, you got to use more leverage to hit Piper. After surviving that hip attack, she hit the Michinoku driver for what I thought was the end. We just had a really short match. I was like, okay, we're going to end this real quick too. But it was such a believable near fall during the match. She also does the Vader bomb. Piper does, which I haven't seen a women's wrestler be able to do that and look so good, but B, really any wrestler do a nice Vader bomb. But honestly, Toni Storm getting up after that and returning a suplex, a German suplex at that. Come on. These women are in it to be in the next round. The crowd, I have to commend the crowd because they were totally in it at this point. I loved how refreshing this match felt. And it was just a great back and forth match. There really wasn't any overdoing spots. It wasn't like unbelievable at certain times. It was just really cool. A really solid match that could be a standout anywhere. So their technical spots going back and forth were pretty great, but yeah, in the end, we see Toni Storm.
Yeah, rookie Toni Storm with the opportunity.
Yeah. That rookie Toni Storm in 7 minutes and 38 seconds. So we're back on track with some pretty well-paced matches. Right after this, they went backstage. The cameras caught up with Ronda Rousey, Marina Shafir, and Jessamine Duke, who were all putting over Shayna Baszler. And then you see Becky, Charlotte, and Bayley approaching them. Ronda said, name the time, name the place. Let's go out to the schoolyard. Let's finish this. And then they just left. For what reason? For what reason did we set this up? Because we know in hindsight, nothing came of this.
Yeah, the date was 00 at never o'clock because we never got it.
I was there.
The date is 00, never o'clock. That's why.
It's true. How are we at our main event already?
I won't forgive the Dementia Era for not giving me this.
I know. I don't think I'll forgive them for a lot of things. So, but
This is toward the top of my list.
all right. Well, we do go into our main event of Dakota Kai versus Kairi Sane. I think Dakota Kai has had one of the best tournaments because she really turned, because her first match was Kavita Devi, which was that terrible. I think probably the worst match in all of this, because I think Kavita was too green to be put in this tournament.
Mm-hmm.
And then Dakota Kai had a banger of a match with Rhea Ripley, which it was like, I couldn't believe that Rhea Ripley lost. I totally forgot that she lost.
Me too.
And Kairi Sane beat Tessa Blanchard and Bianca Belair, which are higher caliber. So going into this, it's like Dakota is clearly your underdog here, but the crowd is so into both of them. It is hard to pick who the crowd wanted more. These opening exchanges in the beginning, Kairi Sane having like this running blockbuster really seemed to get this momentum that was missing in previous matches, where the previous matches were just like really great wrestling, really great contenders for your finals. But this was like, okay, we inserted some caffeine and we're going at a little bit quicker of a pace.
Yeah.
It was hard to kind of keep up with the moves. Again, I was watching at 1.5 speed because I'm just trying to mute out the sound of commentary. But the thing that I love that Dakota Kai does, and this is what she did in her match with Lyra this last is that Raw?
Yeah, last week. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Last week. Mm-hmm.
That Dakota Kai can take someone's momentum and slow it the heck down. She knows how to take someone who, because that's where you make mistakes, right? When you're going too fast and you can't keep up, you are making mistakes. Dakota Kai, I think, in my opinion, is really good at slowing that down. Okay, I'm going to stay with you for a little bit, and then I'm going to whoosh. So if we're in a war of cars, I'm just going to whoosh.
Mm-hmm.
And the other car is having to make adjustments to go back to that different pace, which I think did knock Kairi Sane off a little bit, which was strange to me because this just seemed like, oh, was Kairi not used to someone not wanting to go the same pace as them, which was really interesting. I think that Dakota Kai, her kicks, I don't understand, because she's so small and skinny. How do her kicks have such an impact? I'll never know. But there was a little spot where Dakota Kai did land on her knee weird. And knowing that she's had all these knee injuries, I was like, oh shoot. Oh man. Knowing that like later she said, oh yeah, that's one of the tears that I had in my ACL was there and I didn't let anyone know. It's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are we doing here? But in the end, Kairi Sane hit an elbow that connected, her flying elbow, ending in 7 minutes and 1 seconds, heading her into what is that, semifinals? Yeah, because we were in the quarterfinals right now. Yep, heading to the semifinals against Toni Storm. So tell me your thoughts on this match.
This one thing that really caught my attention is, and even through this whole tournament, is how Kairi is able to connect with the crowd in such a way without even saying much. Because if you see her, she doesn't really talk, but you can see her the way she starts doing her stomps like a pirate, and the crowd is like doing it with her. And it's like, how does how do you do that? And it's like, it's not often that you get the people that have the crowd controlled in that kind of way, not in a bad way either. Like, she does it in such a great way that she does something and she might stop and the crowd will start cheering for her, and that connection that she has with the crowd, a lot of people don't have, and it's always impressive to be able to see her doing that. Yeah, like as Millie's saying it, she uses charisma, and I feel like she has such a great connection with the crowd here that I didn't think about it until I started watching this. Like, oh, how great she connects with it when she's doing the plank walk and things like that, and they start doing like the stomps to do along with her, and that's something that really caught my attention here. And looking at it now, I was in my mind, I like to compare it to like, oh, where are they then versus where are they now, and thinking how they're a tag team now in damage control, but they still kind of grew up with each other in that sort of way. And one thing I really noticed with this is that Kairi really quickly learns the way Dakota maneuvers herself, because at least 2, maybe 3 times during the match, she's able to avoid the way Dakota is coming. Whether it's with the it was a full stomp or a kick, she knows what the strikes are coming. She's able to avoid them, and I like that she's like thinking this. This I gotta be careful with her legs and those kicks and those strikes that she gives me, so she's able to avoid them. And I love that mentality of like, I can be 2 steps ahead of her, and that takes away from Dakota's energy while she's doing those moves, because Kairi's the one avoiding them. So I feel like that was very smart thinking on that end of it. And that double foot stomp from Dakota, I really love seeing as well. And the way that Kairi was able to avoid it, because it's something that I was not expecting. I totally forgot that happened. But again, a fun match. It is another one that with the pacing of it, it didn't feel like it was that short. It felt like it was a little bit longer than what it was too, which I really like when the match is able to like distract me in that sort of way, that I can't even be like, oh, that was 5 minutes. Are you sure? Like, that mentality when you go through it during the match. And I love seeing that between them. They have such a great chemistry. I love watching them wrestle here, and I'm glad they got the amount of time they did. And I feel like it was balanced well enough for both of them here.
No. It's a strong match by Kairi Sane and Dakota. It just wasn't my favorite match of the evening or of Dakota's. I think I liked Rhea Ripley's match with Dakota a little bit better. But all in all, Kairi is going into the semis against Toni Storm, and that's who we have. Toni Storm versus Kairi Sane, and we have Shayna Baszler versus Mercedes Martinez. Is gonna be good, because this is 4 different styles of wrestling, and I don't know about you, but I like different styles of wrestling.
I think what I like about this too is the fact that from their history back then, Mercedes and Shayna know each other very well at the time, because they're teaming with each other. Versus Toni and Kairi probably don't know each other as well, most likely at this time. So it's very interesting seeing how 2 people that are familiar with each other and how they're able to play off of each other. Some people that may not have, I don't want to say experience, but like that kind of relationship, if that makes sense. So definitely like that. I feel like that will make a big contrast in both of the matches too.
You know what? I think that the thing with Kairi and Dakota that makes it not my favorite is that I feel like it was a match that was set up to be in this time constraint, but I think it needed 20 to 25 minutes. You know what I mean? And to say that and go, oh, that rarely happens with women's matches, that sucks. I want more women's matches to have that time to breathe, because if we can have it for the men, we certainly should have it for women's storylines as well. The Shayna, Baszler, and Candice match shocked me with how short it was.
Yeah.
But again, we know Nina into a time constraint, and they had to have that post-match angle. But
I feel like the
just-
difference is though with Shayna and her style, having the match be
Mhm.
3 minutes, it makes sense of like you're able to show off that she is able to finish this match out of nowhere. Versus if you have put Kairi versus Dakota be 3 minutes, it wouldn't have made the same sense either based on their style.
Yeah, it's true. Well, even if you didn't know the finals, is this who you would have picked for your final four?
I feel like Shayna definitely I would have left in there, and Toni, Kairi mostly. I'm thinking the connection with the crowd. Mercedes is the only one that I love her and I love her experience, but I would have liked somebody a little bit younger and like some I don't want to say younger, but somebody that's has a little bit less experience in that aspect to get that kind of opportunity to put their name out there. Like somebody like Rhea, for example, that didn't have a lot of experience, but if she did really well in her match with Dakota, it would have been pretty cool to see her versus Shayna, for example. But I'm not gonna complain about Mercedes or Shayna either. Don't get me wrong.
I feel that. Well, next week we get to talk about episode 8, where we were talking about our semifinals, and the finals are going to be interesting because I know that match is a little bit longer, but I think that episode 9 has a little bit more meat on there, but I can't remember.
Yeah, me neither. It's been a while.
It's been a while. Those are the 2 episodes that I haven't rewatched yet, so I have stuff to do this weekend. But wow, what a quick little episode. I guess it works because, Melball isn't here, who I feel like Melball could talk about any paint drying on the wall, and Hollywood Astrid. My goodness.
Yeah, apparently I got a nickname so I didn't know about, but that's one of them.
Hollywood Astrid. That's kind of hilarious though, because you really are everywhere. There is something, and the lights light up. The lights light up when they see you. But, all right. Well, should we do our little plugs?
I think I had it. Yes, I did. Okay, there we go. You can find me tomorrow doing taking over with Ed. We talk about all NXT, and then Friday I don't know what time yet, so we'll see how that goes. Friday I do have Making an Impact with Mark. Brett won't be with us unfortunately because he's going to be at the TNA taping, so we're really excited to experience that there as well. So that should be fun. And again, you can find me on Monday doing WCWs. We talk about the Mae Young Classic semifinals. See, I keep thinking this is finals, but it's not the finals. Semifinals.
It's semifinals.
So we're almost there, but yeah, very excited. Whoa, okay. Wait, I think I missed something here. We need a little extra second from y'all get closer to the finals to find more time. In my mind, I was thinking that. Because I remember from the one I went to, because it's the second Mae Young Classic that I went to. I said I think one of the last times that I was here, and Billy was talking to me about it as well, is that when the people that got eliminated, sometimes they would have like 6 woman tag matches, for example, and things like that afterward. But I don't know if they're part of what airs here, like on the Peacock side of it, because I remember seeing them, but I don't know if they got aired out or where they are available to begin with.
Yeah,
because there were random matches of people that got eliminated, and they put it towards like the semifinals and the finals to fill in more time for the taping there.
It'll be interesting because if
that's the only thing. I don't remember that.
Oh, it's all in my ear. No, stop. Okay, well, our semifinals episode definitely is 53 minutes. So there's definitely enough to talk about. Oh, it looks like there's matches that aren't. It looks like Miko Satomura versus Toni Storm and and then they do a recap of us getting here and then our final matches going on.
Bailey, you can do that anytime.
Sounds perfect. Yes, we can always yell at Mark. What are you talking about? We can
Anytime
always.
you want.
Okay,
Yeah,
well,
I don't mind. I don't mind when you do that anytime. He said I was so
oh my gosh. Well, if you want to find me where I'm going live, I'm basically on a different show every single day of the week now because I got a little bit booked and busy.
Yes.
So my only free days are Tuesdays and Wednesdays, which people are asking me to be on their shows, and I'm like, can you give me a few weeks, please? But on Thursdays, I am here for On a Ramble. We talk about our love and hate for Ring of Honor. It's our 100th episode. It's actually the 100th episode, not the fake 100th
sure?
episode.
Are you sure about
It's
that?
actually the real one. Oh my gosh. That was the most embarrassing thing ever because I already knew. Yeah, I know. I'm on a show every single day. Oh,
I'm here 3 times a week, though.
you must be so tired of me already.
No.
But on Thursdays, we're talking about Ring of Honor. Fridays, I'm over on my own channel. We are doing my podcast, which is called Collins on the Rocks, which is a drink thing because if you've ever asked for a Collins, you know that is a beverage, and it is called the Happy Hour. So it's called On the Rocks, and I get to chat to whomever I want to, and I get to ask really personal questions that you would ask during a little happy hour sesh. This last week we had Ella J on there, and I got to ask so many personal questions, and Ella J did a fantastic impression of me. So that's live on my channel right now. My next guest is TBD, so we'll see what happens there. Saturdays, I'm on OLE doing our local establishment, and we are doing the Mother Tucking Pose show for RuPaul's Drag Race with my lovely co-host, Jose on the Air. And then Sundays, we are doing on Fightful Overbooked, Wrestling Made Me Cry, where we talk about all the things that made us cry about wrestling during the week because, you know, we love emotion. And I love being emotionally tied to something. And then I'm here every Monday talking about women's classic wrestling with the lovely Astrid and the lovely Melball Collins. So did I get everything? I think. I don't think I could do Friday evenings if he was going to be on my show.
That's true.
Because that's just... Oh my goodness. Have you ever had someone that doesn't drink on happy hour? Not yet, but soon. But soon. All right. Well, and if you want to know when we go live, this channel, hi, hello, this is our local establishment. Click that little notification so you know why am I doing that? Where's the, I don't know. I didn't put it on this one. Oh, it's down there. Click the notification bell. Sorry, on Honor Ramble is above me.
Bell were you looking at?
No, on Honor Ramble,
Yes.
our background has it up here. It's actually down there, but it's being hidden by the ticker. That's fine. But turn on the notification so you know when we are going live, because there is now a show every single day of the week. You're going to want to go to all of our social medias, follow us there. We put out little shorts, little videos. You won't want to miss them because, you know, listen, I can't ever say words. And you should give me some slack because I had to take my Migranol 2 hours ago, and I have a nice ring light in the corner of my right eye that is starting to get my brain going. So not only do I have my Swiss cheese brain, but
And that's why we're finishing off early so you can go rest.
yes, I'm gonna go rest. So
Yes.
it's only 8:17 p.m. here, and I'm probably gonna be asleep before 9. So
Ah, lucky.
migraines do suck. I've had one since Friday.
Mm.
And I just have kind of been using Advil, doing because I have like the cooling little face mask, which
Yeah,
is
I have for the
really,
forehead.
really
Mhm.
helped. And then we didn't do show on Sunday, which was kind of a miracle because I wanted to cancel anyways because I was just not feeling great. It was to the point. I do need to hydrate. Thank you. It was to the point yesterday where I was driving because I had a meeting and a meeting in person for some volunteer work that I was doing. And I was going, I'm going to throw up while driving because my eyes hurt so bad. And I was like, I'm going to throw up while driving. So I went to Target. And I got some anti-nausea medicine, and I was like, I gotta go to the doctor. I gotta do something. So take your health seriously, because then you won't have Swiss cheese brain.
Never.
Well, with that said, we love you. Thank you so much. And women's wrestling matters.